I have spent the better part of the last 2.5 years dedicated to trying to figure out which is the best minivan available for sale new in North America. I know. The two of you are so jealous and envious of me. And look, I get it. I understand. I mean, it's a tough job, and somebody has to do it. And being the self-proclaimed minivan king, sorry, you know what? I take my job seriously, and yeah, I know I'm just talking all kinds of silly stuff. I mean, basically it was about 2.5 years ago when I first got to drive the new generation Toyota Sienna, and it was pretty damn clear to me at that very moment that it was the best minivan available for sale. In fact, almost 2 years ago now, or by the time this is public, whatever, I put together one of the first full segment minivan comparison tests in North America, in Canada at least, pretty sure. And we figured out that the Honda Odyssey is the best minivan available for sale. But you will note that I may have said that I kind of prefer the Sienna anyway. And I know that if you do watch the video, the audio is terrible, but we had just bought brand new equipment, so apologies for that. Why I am so dedicated to figuring out which is the best new minivan available for sale in North America, it's actually quite simple. These are the best vehicles, period, for 95% of our daily activities. In other words, look, and this is going to be shocking to some of you, but SUVs suck. Okay, there's a lot of SUVs that I do love, but they suck, and they are compromised, not as efficient, not as spacious, not as user-friendly. I know, this is a shock. It's a shock to you because you're looking out, you know, in your front yard, and you're seeing your Santa Fe and your Explorer, and you're figuring, but I have the best. No, this minivan. And look, I've already reviewed this car on a number of occasions. I mean, I've put myself through thousands of kilometers behind the wheel of a Sienna, plus many hundreds behind the wheels of other minivans, only to continue to realize that the Sienna is just the best, most well-rounded minivan of them all. So if you are interested in the Sienna, I do know, I understand. If you want to buy one, wait times vary from what I've seen and heard, between 12 and 36 months. So if you want one, you're going to have to be patient. If the dealership wants you to wait up to 36 months, don't bother, just get something else in the meantime, and then the first electric minivan won't be affordable at all, but you know, it'll be out and about. And okay, so what I'm going to do in this review video is remind you all that minivans are unbeaten when it comes to the use of space. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so let's just say in the same afternoon you have a bunch of things to do, okay, with your minivan. At one point you're going to go and pick up the kids at daycare or at school, or both, like I do, and you're going to go sliding afterwards because it is winter, right? So you can fit 2 toboggans in there with incredible ease. This is mine, by the way, not my daughter's. Okay, look at that. And then, I don't know, you're gonna go take a trip somewhere. Just go along with me, please. So you have to pack and store a massive bag. This is also mine, by the way. And believe me, I've never lost it. I mean, when it comes down the carousel, everyone can see it, and almost everyone will walk away from it immediately, whereas I will just go and pick it up. This is mine. Yeah. And look how easily it fits in the hole. Oh, and let's just say you also have to drop off a big box at your local FedEx drop-off spot. It just fits in there. And let's just say, because you happen to have an XSE, which is a 7-seater, you have to carry 5 people while you're at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With absolute ease, with tons of space left over. You can't do this in most SUVs because you're going to have to put the 50-50 bench down or the 60-40 bench down, but which is a lot narrower. I mean, look, just last week, I had a brand new, all new 2023 Toyota Sequoia, you know, let's just stick with the family. And all of this would not have been possible, you know, because I think the lift over height in Sequoia is this high. Anyhow, point is, massive 40 centimeter longer SUV, not as user-friendly as this is. And I'm not even done yet. Okay, let's keep going here. By the way, minivans are not cheap anymore. In fact, they're insanely expensive. But the thing is, like your average mid-size SUV in Canada, with a few options and a few features, you're closing into mid-40s, even into the early 50s. And then if you move a little bit higher up, I mean, you can easily spend $60,000, $70,000 even on a mid-size, well-equipped, lower trim premium SUV that will not open its doors for you. I mean, how inconsiderate is that? And if you want power operated doors on your SUV, you're gonna have to spend 4 times that amount, whatever amount that was, 50, 60, 70. It's all the same. And I mean, if you really want to show off, right? Plus you saw the power hatch too. I mean, you get it all. It's all built in. And this happens to be my favorite trim, the XSE, which features the second row long slide seats. I mean, right now, okay, so there's a seat missing, the other one's there, whatever. But look at the amount of, you know what, watch this. And I'm gonna turn and step back out, okay? How many SUVs can you actually do that in? None, zero, nada, no way, not happening. And I'm only about halfway through now. I'll give you the prices, hang on, please, please. I mean, you can move into the front. Now, I don't know if you can actually see this, but I mean, picture that, like my extra large fanny. I'm gonna zoom in, okay, hang on, please. Okay, so what I was referring to is just my camera bag, which, you know, pictures my extra large fanny pack, and you can just drop it there, or grocery bags. This bridge setup layout for the center console is absolutely brilliant. I love the shelf here, it's just so useful. As far as the charging pad for the phone though, not the greatest spot. Well, a good spot, but it needs to be, let's just say the folding doesn't hold in place very well when you're moving about. Great place to store documents and all that. And here's maybe a better shot of the interior. Third row is up, but let me zoom out. Now with the seat all the way in the back there, it's kind of cramped, but it's actually very usable. We did it last summer. 2 adults sat in the back and they survived to tell the story. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this in a semi-strange way, but it doesn't really matter because you've all seen what the Sienna looks like, and it's really, really good looking. Okay, so in Canada for 2023 pricing is $42,150 for the base LE front wheel drive, and it goes all the way up to $60,390 for a limited all wheel drive. 60 grand. Who would have thought that a Toyota Sienna minivan could be 60 grand? By the way, those prices have gone up by about $2,000, give or take, since 2021, the first model year of this generation Sienna. I should have probably moved it. In the US, pricing is $36,135, all the way up to $51,590. Base equipment is still very complete. I mean, you have 9-inch display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. As I noted, this is an XSE with all-wheel drive. Yes, sirree. So it is $49,690 to $50K for this van, but this one also has $5,500 optional tech package, whatever, so it's expensive. But look, you get the second row long slide seats, you get the power lumbar seat, which was a massive thing, massive issue when I drove the LE for many, many hours. This would have saved my back, but then I had a cushion, so that worked out. This is another reason why the XSE is boss. You get the power lumbar, as I said. There's another good shot of the side. I mean, fit, finish, materials, it's more of the utilitarian class. It's for robustness, it's to be used, and it absolutely works. Just a shot of the dashboard from here. You know, everything's off, but you know what? Oh, and this is always one of my daughter uses this every time she gets in and out. She's almost 4.5, and she uses it all the time. And they love to close the door and then move out of the way quickly because we pretend that the Sienna is gonna eat my kids. I know that's kind of horrible, but it's cute and it works. They love it. Okay, let's just get back on board. I mean, you've seen it all before. 4.2-inch display. When you get into the Limited, I think it's a 7-inch, but whatevs. Everything else is absolutely functional. Hard buttons for HVAC, and this works quite well too. I mean, the whole system HVAC, it's got the combination buttons and touchscreen display. It's wonderful. And let's just go take it for a quick ride, because there's one thing about the XSE that differentiates it from the others. So let's do that. So I kind of skipped completely over the visual differences for the XSE, but essentially it comes down to a little bit of aero in the front bumpers because it's cold outside. And that's about it. I mean, it looks like all the others if you look at it quickly, but then if you focus in on the front bumper, there's a little lip and there's a little bit of blacked out stuff up front and here and there around the van. It adds an extra layer of coolness to it. I do like this cement color. Personally, I'd go for a red or a blue, which I believe are both still available in 2023. I probably should have checked that before doing the review. Yeah. So still same naturally aspirated 2.5 liter petrol engine with, in this case, a pair of electric motors. So output is unchanged whether you have one or two engines, electric motors, my bad. The differences are that, you know, with the second electric motor, it's like torquiness or response is a little bit sharper off the line, but you really have to pay attention to feel it. What I have noticed though, because I did spend so much time with the LE front wheel drive, is that the extra 130-ish pounds from the rear motor seems to be noticeable. Having said that, I think what's really messing with my mind is, let's keep in mind that this is pothole season. Spring is right around the next corner over there, right? And the XSE has a sport-tuned suspension. So what that means is that everything is a little bit sharper-ish. Let's just leave it at that. I wish I had summer tires. I wish we were in the middle of July, because then I would probably appreciate what seems to be slightly, well, sharper steering response and handling. But having said that, even with the front wheel drive LE with the normie suspension, I mean, the Sienna handles really, really well. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think because of the suspension and what I'm experiencing right now in winter, I think Toyota either has to make the sport suspension optional on the XSE or offer an XLE all-wheel drive so you can get a few other features such as the power hatch and so on and so forth. So it's up to you, Toyota Canada, figure it out. Give me a call so I can drive and book this again. But otherwise, look, I'm averaging, well, I'm kind of being silly now because I've saved so much fuel last summer when I drove down to Maine. I'm averaging just over 7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is still mind-blowing for this large, heavy-ish minivan. As always, with the ECVT, the best thing to do is just to leave it in eco mode and gently roll onto the throttle to keep, well, engine and VH in check. But honestly, and again, I'm pretty sure I've said this 2 or 3 times already, if not more, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's probably the only quasi-semi, barely noticeable, slightly irritating, you know, downside to this, the ECVT. But I mean, if you drive it as it should be driven, fuel efficiency, in this case, all-wheel drive capability, and some really, really decent handling. I'm not done yet. figuring out if this is the best minivan, because I hope to drive it again, maybe this year, who knows, and possibly next year and the one after that. And hopefully eventually maybe there'll be an all-electric version of this, and I will be sure to review that one as well. Right, guys? Toyota Canada, right? Love you.